So, it has been almost 2 long weeks since the spoilers came out, but now the translations for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 377 is out, and I am here to review it. So, let's dive right into it, but first, right after this. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to cover the manga translations for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 377, titled All the Efforts Until Now. And this was a very fantastic chapter. A very short chapter, but very fantastic nonetheless, with the return of more or less Shigaraki to a certain extent, as well as a major character reveal when it comes to them playing a major role in this war that a lot of people predicted but never thought that would actually come into fruition. Let's dive into the chapter and break it down and review it and see what's going on. And the first thing that I really want to talk about is just the first page of this entire chapter, which is just a monologue of an elderly individual. We have no idea who this person is, but we know that they are standing in front of cherry blossoms as they are talking about the incident that occurred during the war, as it seems to be in like the past tense, and how their plan for the heroes failed as the winds blew violently, as this is pretty much the precursor to the fact that the villains are pretty much destroying the plans that the heroes had and is taking advantage and taking the lead in this war. And there's many ways that we can interpret who this individual is. It could be an elderly Deku, it could be an elderly All Might, it could just be someone that we have never seen before and it's just an elderly person. But I would put my money on the idea that this is Deku and he is remembering what is happening in this moment, and there is some importance to what is happening. The fact that he's in front of cherry blossoms and cherry trees plays very significant symbolism when it comes to springtime, when it comes to rebirth, when it comes to the idea of like mortality, and how it comes to how graceful and readily accepting of destiny and karma. Having the cherry blossoms being the starter of this chapter really fits into what this chapter is about when it comes to destiny coming into fruition, as well as a new type of rebirth when it comes to the heroes potentially taking an advantage in the war. So yeah, there's a lot of symbolism when it comes to the cherry blossoms in themselves and what they represent in this chapter. And getting more into the chapter, we do get to see a little bit more of what happened when Kurogiri came into the appearance or came into the view of Aizawa, Manuel, and Monoma. And lo and behold, he brought the twice clones that are being controlled by Toga, and they are able to do the impossible. They cause Monoma to blink, which leads to a massive explosion that leads to, in a way, Shigaraki literally breaking out of his old skin, out of a cocoon shell, and being reborn. Hey, Sakura blossoms, hey. So yeah, this is pretty much something that we would have expected. We knew that eventually Monoma is going to be taken out of the picture, most likely by the twice clones, as we saw that the fact that Kurogiri transferred Toga over there, and we also could have predicted that he was going to be transferred over here, or she was going to be transferred over here. All this leads to Shigaraki literally being able to use his quirks, and that is very dangerous and that is very bad. But also what doesn't help in this situation is that the literal barrier, his literal casket, is failing. We hear that like things are not working correctly. The barrier is barely intact. They're unable to like rebuild the floor. So that means if Shigaraki were to decay the floor, his decay would spread. And the idea is that the UA barrier is falling, all thanks to one specific individual. And that individual is skeptic, as he's saying that the heroes are going to fail as they begin to come to a realization that Monoma is under attack. The area where the battery is located is about to be flooded by these twice Toga clones, and that Deku at this moment has to literally go up against a Shigaraki whose quirks are now intact. And I say Shigaraki, but in this instance, it's actually more of Tomura's personality coming into vogue. And this is seen in the translations as it's talking about how Shigaraki Tomura himself is talking to Deku and is saying, oh, you wanted to talk to me? Want to chat at the mall? No, we can't do that because I'm your nemesis. And he's saying this in the Japanese version using ore, which is Tomura Shigaraki's words, or how he says I, in contrast to All For One, who uses boku. And now, this is probably going to make a lot of people happy because many people thought that Tomura Shigaraki has been away for years, but now he's back and ready to fight. When in reality, he has not necessarily left. This isn't the first time we've actually seen this difference between ore and boku when it comes to Shigaraki in this fight. Heck, he switched in between ore and boku constantly, meaning that his personalities were always going back and forth because he was a new individual. But now that he's able to use his quirks, it seems as if the Tomura Shigaraki personality is more in control due to the fact that the merger is incomplete. So I know a lot of people are going to be happy about this, but all in all, this isn't really that much difference from what we've had in this series up until this moment. Tomura Shigaraki has always been there, he just hasn't been the prominent figure. Speaking of prominent figures, yeah, Skeptic is really going crazy. It is confirmed that he has control not only of the UA systems on the Flying Fortress, but also the areas where the UA civilians are being kept, and how this is going to be the moment of his liberation. And during this time, we also get a little bit of information about what's going on with Deku and his new quirk Gear Shift as we hear someone laughing in the background. And as Deku is coming to his realization that, oh no, this is bad, people are going to be hurt, I have to make sure that Shigaraki doesn't escape. I also have to make sure that I go after the Twice clones who are destroying the battery, but I also cannot breathe at this moment because Gear Shift has an after effect that prevents him from breathing if he uses it too long. And even though the second user says this, he's very blunt and blatant about it. He's like, yeah, I know this is going to be difficult, but you can't take it easy. Literally, All For One at this moment is literally at the brink. So we cannot let up. We literally have to do it now or everything goes to shit. So we have to do it now. But also, don't worry. There is still a way for us to still be able to do this because the seeds that have been sown are beginning to bloom. And we get a little bit more context to what this means as we get the savior of this arc or this chapter potentially, as we have an individual exposing where Skeptic is, saying, oh wow, I found you. It took a while to find you, but don't worry, I tracked you down because this is all being done for the sake of Gentle. As it's revealed that La Brava is back with a new title, former video uploading villain La Brava. Yay! Best girl is back. That is at least shorter than like 3 feet. So yes, it is revealed that La Brava is back, and something that we all were expecting, or at the very least hoping, would come into effect has come. Because there were many theories that La Brava would come into vogue. We knew for a fact that she was a hacker. We knew for a fact that she was able to hack UA. And we also knew for a fact that Skeptic did fail to stop someone from hacking their system once. So putting 2 and 2 together, most likely this individual was La Brava. Also, the series was setting up that La Brava as well as Gentle Criminal will come back. And even though we do not see Gentle Criminal in this chapter, but we do see the police chief, Tsukachi, it is a very high possibility that we're probably going to see Gentle Criminal in the next chapter and potentially fighting in the war, or at the very least by La Brava's side. So this is going to be very exciting, and overall this was a very enjoyable chapter. We got the return of Tomura Shigaraki's personality, or at the very least the return of his personality being the most dominant. We got a lot of symbolism for death and rebirth for the cherry blossoms that apply for both the heroes as well as the villains. The villains with the rebirth of Tomura Shigaraki in his new body and being able to control his quirk at this moment, but also the rebirth of Hope and really talking about more of All For One and One For All when it comes to destiny, karma, and all of that jazz, as well as getting a little bit more information about the quirk itself and just really seeing the trouble and the trials that the heroes are going to have to go through now that All For One has been unlocked for Tomura Shigaraki and he can use it with the utmost scrutiny and pleasure when it comes to potentially killing everyone. So next chapter is going to be very exciting. I cannot say for certain when it's going to be coming out because of the holiday season, but most likely it's probably going to be coming out within the next week or within the next 2 weeks, potentially longer if Horikoshi needs a break because this was a short chapter. But whenever this new chapter comes out, it is going to blow the internet and the fandom up, and I cannot wait to cover it. But yeah, this is all I really have to say for the video. I'm sorry my upload schedule has been a little bit off. Just changes in my life has prevented me from actually producing a lot more content, as well as more of a personal and motivational drive. But I will try to put out more content and be more driven to put out more content for you guys, because I still do enjoy making these YouTube videos, and I was a little bit sad that I wasn't able to put out that much content during the holiday break. But hopefully y'all had an amazing holiday season. Happy Christmas, Merry New Year's, all that cool jazz. And hopefully I'll be able to catch you in one of my next videos. Leave a like on the video if you liked it, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I upload more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!